How's it going, guys? Davey here from phonebuff.com, and in this video I'm doing a comparison between the Tegra 3 processor and the Exynos 4 quad processor, but specifically looking at the GPUs on these guys. So the 12-core GPU here, the Mali 400 GPU overclocked from the version that we saw on the Galaxy S2, and basically we're going to see which one actually performs better in the real world. We've seen benchmarks, and from the benchmarks that I've seen online, it looks like the Exynos 4 quad with the Mali 400 GPU out edges the Tegra 3 processor, but I want to see how it looks in real life. But before we do that, I'm going to run a quick benchmark just so you guys could see. I'll do quadrant, and since I'm not looking for the CPU speed or memory speed, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck the other options here in this test. So I'm only going to be looking at the 2D and 3D graphics. I'll hit start really quick, and I'll just kind of skip through this so you guys can just get straight to the results. Okay, so the benchmark is done. Now obviously both of these devices are going to show up at the top because we only ran the graphics portion of the test. So the Nexus 7 with its Tegra 3 processor scored a 1356. It looks like 356, but there's a 1 there. It's not showing up, but it's 1356. There you go, that'll show it. 1356, as you guys could see. And we'll go ahead and look at the Exynos 4 quad, and it scored a 1722. So 1722. So like I said earlier, the benchmark does seem to favor the Exynos 4 quad. We'll go ahead and hit home on these guys, and we'll go ahead and run Google Earth to actually test the real world experience that you'll get with each of these devices. So I'm gonna run Google Earth. I'm gonna go to Las Vegas. If you guys are familiar with my GPU tests that I've done in the past, I'm gonna go to Las Vegas, let both devices load up the terrain, basically all the 3D buildings that are in Vegas, and after a minute or so of letting each load up, I'll go ahead and do a pinch in, pinch out, and just kind of pan around test, kind of see which one actually performs more smoothly. And honestly, I mean, I could have ran games on here. Obviously you have the Tegra enhanced games on the Tegra 3, and you don't have the on the Exynos 4 quad, but like you guys have seen on the channel, you guys could actually do a hack that makes the non-Tegra processor have that same optimization. So comparing games isn't necessarily a thing that I want to do for the actual test. Google Earth really helps with that because it really does put a lot of pressure or strain on the processors, more so than any other game I've seen. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in and let these guys load up for a minute, and then I'll skip to the actual test. Alright, so I let both devices load up for like a minute or two. Hopefully they're both done. I'll go ahead and start the test on the Exynos 4 quad because I did load that one up a little bit faster, or a little bit before I did it on the Tegra 3. So anyway, we'll go ahead and pinch in and out. So we're looking at a 3D building. This building right here is the Venetian. And you guys can actually see it say Venetian right here. So I'm just going to zoom in and out and just kind of pay attention to how smooth and or choppy the whole experience is. So I'll zoom in on it a little bit more. We'll do a 3D kind of landscape. And then we'll move from side to side, look at some of the other buildings. All right. And we'll go ahead and look at the Wynn building now. And we'll do the same exact thing on the Asus Nexus 7 to test that Tegra 3 processor. And the good thing about testing these two tablets is that they're both running the same resolution at 1280 by 800. So the resolution, won't play a factor as far as, one having the edge over the other. And of course, both devices are on the same Wi-Fi network. And you can see pretty smooth. I mean, for the most part, everything seems like it isn't, lagging or anything. Compare this to some of the other devices I've done. I mean, much smoother compared to the dual cores, the Snapdragon S4, and other processors like the OMAP 4460. This quad core processor definitely can handle it a lot better. And we'll just kind of look at this last building really quick. We'll do a 3D view. All right, so hopefully that gives you an idea as far as the performance you could expect out of that guy. And we'll go ahead and push this off. And now let's look at the Nexus 7 with the Tegra 3. So, all right, we'll again do the pinch in and pinch out. And now we'll do a little 360 view. And then we'll kind of pan around. So let me go back in front of it like I did in the last test. So we'll pan. And pretty much it looks like I'm getting just about the same kind of performance. Not really, you know, something that I could say easily one is better than the other. Maybe you got a little bit choppy right here with the Tegra 3, but there's, you know, the moments where the Exynos 4 Quad had, you know, its choppiness. So really hard to tell. I mean, usually I'm able to get a much better indicator as far as, you know, one outperforming the other. When it comes to this, it doesn't seem like it's making that big of a difference. Let's go ahead and look at the win. Now, of course, you know, this is my opinion. If you guys, you know, are watching the video and kind of could rewind and fast forward and look at the direct comparisons, you'll get a better idea as far as, you know, one performing better than the other. But right now, it kind of actually feels like they're pretty much the same. I mean, I don't know, it looks pretty good to me. So let's go to that last building that I looked at right over here, and we'll do the 360 view of it. And I mean, really smooth performance on the Tegra 3. So I really can't say, you know, which one performs better just from this comparison. You know, you go off the benchmark and you say, you know, the Exynos 4 Quad seemed like it did perform better. You know, we'll take one last look at it side by side. So I'll do a 360 view. And you can see, I mean, it's really smooth. I'll try to spin faster actually, see if that will give us an idea. So I'm spinning pretty fast and it's handling it pretty well. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll zoom in on the same building and we'll try to spin it fast. And again, it seems to be handling it pretty well as well. And you gotta remember, I mean, right now, there's a lot of 3D content being loaded on. It doesn't look like much, maybe, but if you feel these two tablets, I can feel them getting hot through the screen. You know, if I turn them around and felt the battery, those things are burning up right now. But again, it looks really smooth. So anyway, just wanted to do this comparison video. You know, unfortunately, we didn't get a clear winner. You know, you kind of have to go off maybe the benchmark and assume that maybe the Exynos 4 Quad is better. But at the same time, you know, benchmarks aren't a reflection of real world experience. You know, when it comes to real world experience, it seems the same. And also, the Tegra 3 processor has its advantages because when it comes to actually taking advantage of the great, you know, graphics capabilities, Tegra 3 actually does that more so than the Exynos because there's Tegra 3 optimized games. There isn't Exynos 4 Quad, you know, optimized games out on the Play Store. So, you know, you give the edge for the benchmarks here, you give the edge for the better games and optimized games here, and from the real world performance, they seem just about the same to me. And pretty much you gotta pick your poison. But anyway, that's it from me in this video. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.